The story of Lewis Hamilton's season with Ferrari has been nothing short of a roller coaster, filled with unexpected challenges, compromises, and moments of reflection. At the heart of the 2025 season, there's a question that everyone is asking. Can Hamilton, one of Formula One's greatest drivers, adapt to Ferrari's intricacies and continue to perform at the level we've come to expect from him? Or is this the season where Ferrari's struggles start to weigh too heavily on his remarkable career? The events leading to Hamilton's struggles began at the Shanghai Grand Prix, where, despite what seemed like a relatively solid performance, disaster struck in the most unexpected of ways. A technical issue with the car, specifically the skid block underneath his SF25, wore down past the legal limit, and Hamilton was disqualified from the final results. This disqualification wasn't a result of any negligence on Hamilton's part, but rather the team's pursuit of the optimal setup. Ferrari had pushed the car too low in their quest for downforce, a strategy that worked on paper but backfired when put to the test in real-world conditions. The damage was done, and it was clear that Ferrari was starting to grapple with the consequences of their setup choices. By the time the paddock arrived in Suzuka, just days after Shanghai, the pressure was mounting. Ferrari made the decision to raise the ride height of both cars to avoid another disqualification. But that adjustment came at a significant cost. In Formula One, ride height plays a pivotal role in the car's performance, especially in the ground effect era. A lower car creates more downforce, providing better grip and more stability, but when the car is raised, even slightly, that balance is disrupted, leading to a loss in performance. And so, in Suzuka, Hamilton faced a car that was far from optimal. He qualified in P8, his worst Japanese Grand Prix result since 2012. The car was difficult to handle, and Hamilton described it as particularly tough to rotate through fast corners, with understeering being a constant problem. He couldn't push the car to its limits, and no matter how hard he tried, the front end simply wouldn't respond. On the other hand, his teammate Charles Leclerc managed to qualify in P4, showing a level of performance Hamilton couldn't match. So what was going wrong? Was it just a case of a driver who wasn't feeling comfortable with his setup? Or was Ferrari's car simply not responding well to the changes made in the aftermath of Shanghai? The answer lies in the complexity of Formula One engineering and the fine margins that define success in the sport. Ferrari's decision to raise the ride height had clearly affected the car's balance, but it wasn't just about one mistake or a single setup change. The knock-on effects of that decision were felt not only in the car's handling, but also in Hamilton's ability to find the rhythm and confidence he needed. When you're a driver of Hamilton's caliber, even the smallest adjustments can make a world of difference. In Suzuka, it was clear that Hamilton was struggling to find that confidence. His setup was diverging from Leclerc's, and that gap in performance was significant, especially given the fact that both drivers were using identical machinery. Hamilton himself acknowledged the issue, saying that he simply didn't feel good enough after qualifying in P8. His first words after the session summed up his frustration. "Not good enough from my side." But it wasn't just about the driver. The car was a key factor. Hamilton made several attempts to adjust tools inside the cockpit, but nothing seemed to make the car work the way he needed it to. The adjustments were more like guesses than real solutions, and this lack of confidence in the setup was costing him precious time. In contrast, Leclerc seemed to have a much better handle on the car. The Ferrari driver managed to extract performance from the same machinery that Hamilton was struggling with. His car rotated better through high-speed corners, carried more momentum on exits, and felt more stable overall. While Hamilton fought with his car's balance, Leclerc seemed to be in complete harmony with it, clocking a time almost half a second faster than Hamilton in the final runs. That gap was significant, especially considering the pressure Hamilton was under to perform at his best. Ferrari, however, wasn't blind to the issue. Insiders from the team suggested that they were still trying to figure out how to dial out the understeer without sacrificing rear grip. This balancing act was proving to be much more complicated than they had anticipated. Ferrari engineers were working tirelessly to understand how to find the perfect balance between performance and safety, but it was clear that they still had some learning to do. Hamilton, on the other hand, wasn't giving up. Despite the struggles, he remained optimistic about the progress he was making with the team. He spoke about how he was adapting to the SF25 and learning how to fine-tune the car to suit his driving style. Hamilton admitted that his progress was coming in small, structured steps, but it was progress nonetheless. He was now spending more time in the simulator, reviewing different tool combinations before every race weekend and identifying which settings worked best for him. The fact that Hamilton was becoming more familiar with the tools inside the cockpit was a sign of progress. In the early part of the season, he had struggled to find his rhythm, but now he was starting to guide the engineers towards setups that worked better for his driving characteristics. It wasn't just about adjusting the car's mechanical setup. Hamilton was also starting to understand how to influence the car's energy deployment and brake bias to suit his driving style. This level of input from Hamilton had been missing earlier in the year. In Australia and China, he had struggled to find the right setup, but now he was making more precise adjustments across the full tire temperature window. Ferrari engineers noticed that Hamilton's feedback was becoming increasingly accurate, allowing them to make more informed decisions about setup changes. His understanding of how different modes influenced the mechanical balance of the car was growing, and that gave him more confidence behind the wheel. Despite these improvements, the question remains, can Hamilton continue to improve, or is he already running out of time? The pressure is mounting as the season progresses, and Hamilton's ability to extract performance from the Ferrari SF25 will be key to his success in the coming races. Ferrari has made changes to help Hamilton perform better, but it's clear that the team is still learning how to optimize the car for his driving style. One area where Hamilton may find an advantage is in wet weather conditions. Historically, Hamilton has excelled in changing weather conditions, where grip becomes more important than pure downforce or straight-line speed. In Suzuka, the forecast predicted rain on race day, and Hamilton was hopeful that the wet conditions would level the playing field. Wet weather